Hi everyone, it's Jenny Delberg here. Today I thought I'd try and do something a little bit different. I noticed that out of all the videos I've put up, the red chili pepper one had the most views, and I thought perhaps it'd be fun to try and teach people a little bit how to do that. I am by no means an authority or a teacher of art. I mean, everyone has their own way of doing things, and I don't want to try and imply that my way is better than anyone else's at all, or that anyone's style is lesser. I think that all kinds of art can be beautiful and wonderful, but I thought I would show how I do things and how I create realism in a drawing. So I thought I would start with something really simple that's not got too much going on. So I picked a yellow bell pepper. Yellow is one of the primary colours, and also the shape is not too complicated, and I think it's quite forgiving as well. So if you accidentally draw something that's not quite perfect, it can still look realistic for a pepper because they can come in kind of odd shapes. I'm going to be using a Wacom Intuos Pro tablet. So it's basically a tablet that connects to my computer. It's a slightly older one, so I don't see the image on the tablet itself. I draw on the tablet and the image appears on my computer, which certainly makes it a lot easier. You could still do this with just a mouse, but it's going to be harder. However, what I'm going to be showing you can be applied to just traditional art as well. It doesn't have to be digital art. So I have this beautiful yellow bell pepper, and to start off with, I'm just going to do a rough sketch of it. I have touch sensitivity on here at the top. This means that the harder I press on the tablet, the harder it's going to appear on the screen. If I press lightly, I get it light. If I press hard, I get harder. And also it layers, so the more layers I do, the darker it comes, until it eventually will come to the colour that I have selected here at the side. So let's not work on the background layer, let's work on the top layer. Also, you'll notice that I have the picture here on the right hand side. It's easier when you're starting off doing these things to try and do it just the same size and make it look as identical as possible. But the more practice you become at it, the better you become at it. You won't have to have the picture right next to you anymore, and you can scale it up to whatever size you want, but it does take practice. So just for simplicity, I've got it right next to us just now, and we're going to try and draw a picture that's approximately the same size. Well, actually, exactly the same size, not approximately. The whole idea of realism is to try and get the object to look as close to your picture as possible. That's too narrow, I think. Probably I should have done a line down the middle here to try and see better the sizes, but yeah, I'm going with this now. I think I also have it a little bit too high. So let's transform it again. Maybe not. It's really hard to tell. Yeah. Let's leave it there just now. So I'm being fairly rough. It's not like it looks that gorgeous right now. That comes later. Let's do a gorgeous stem here. And try and get these little bumps in. But like I said, luckily with peppers, even if you've got it kind of wonky, a little bit off, it's still probably gonna look fairly good when you're finished. As long as you don't have it sitting right next to the picture, then no one can complain. You can just be like, no, that's what the pepper looked like. Yeah, it looked totally deformed, my pepper. I mean, not my fault. Blame nature, right? Okay, I still didn't have it wide enough. I don't think, maybe. No, this goes down a bit narrower here, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to try and tidy it up a little bit. Obviously, I don't really want to have all these lines coming all over the place. This is totally unrusted, right? I have several lines, you'll see, in the middle here, like this line here. It doesn't really exist. Excuse me. It's just an indication of where this line goes, and even at that, I've got it off. It actually, this part comes across further, I would say here maybe. But this line that I'm drawing right now, it doesn't really exist. It's an indication of where I'm seeing a shadow. So quite often when I'm doing this kind of thing, I like to soften those lines, just to indicate to myself that it's not actually a solid, a harsh edge perhaps. I don't want to say solid, but a hard edge. You can also do this around the edges as well. So what you can do is where there's a darker part, so here under the pepper, yeah, that's annoying me now, excuse me. I just realised that this is actually a little bit, it's not right, is it? It's got to be further up. Okay, that probably just made things worse, excuse me. This part is actually a little bit lower, isn't it, than this part here. Do you see? This comes down to like a slight point, and I've got mine a little bit too pointy. Totally gorgeous, right? But these darker parts here, you can indicate that by having a thicker line. And then for lighter parts where the light is kind of heading, you can have a thinner line just to help guide yourself later. Or if you just want to have a line drawing, it certainly makes it a lot more beautiful if you do that. However, we are going to be colouring this one. Excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. Actually, it's a little bit farther down here. I hate that. Quite often when you're using the pen, it doesn't automatically, it's got kind of two ends to it, so the end that you draw with, and then if I flip it over, I can automatically use the eraser without having to select the eraser tool. But sometimes it doesn't register that you flip the pen over and it draws a line instead, which is kind of annoying. But I mean, it's a small thing really. It's still a fantastic tool, I think. Much easier than using the mouse, certainly, to draw. Okay, where are we going here? That's actually a soft line. Another soft. We've got a lot of softness here. And then it bulges out and then goes in. I've probably done that. Okay, now I am flicking my eyes back and forth between the pictures. it's kind of like a game of spot the difference. So move your eyes back and forth quickly and see what stands out to you. So right now it's standing out to me that this has a slight indent on the real picture that is lacking in mine. Slight. But I need to be careful not to let it eat into this kind of very beautiful gradual curve here. And then also the top here is not right. It's actually a little bit softer than I have it. I've got it jutting out a little bit too much, but it's very fractional. And this is not right again. I thought I had it right earlier, but it's not. It's a little bit flat here on top, just a little bit, like that. Probably made that look curvier. Okay, and obviously my stem is way off, but I'm not too concerned about that right now. It will come out more in the colour, I think, than the... It's quite hard to indicate all these little pieces with my pen. I would rather try and do that with colour. Okay, I think that's good enough. So, or is it? I think the actual picture is slightly wider, so I'm going to, oops. Actually, let's just do the select all pixels and transform it to make it a bit wider, and hopefully that will kind of equal a little bit more what I'm actually seeing. A little bit further down, maybe. Okay, so set it to multiply, and that means that when I go over these lines, it's not going to erase them. It multiplies them. It sort of maintains and darkens, I believe, is what it's supposed to do. I've set my pen now to just a solid colour, which means it's not got softness anymore. That means that it won't layer. It's just going to be the same colour all the time. And also I have taken off the pressure. I just want it to be one continuous colour. So, because I'm using a computer, what you can do is use the eyedropper tool and steal the colour, I suppose, directly from the paper, which could make it a whole lot easier, but I don't want to do that. I actually prefer trying to find the colours myself. I think that it helps to train your eyes, and besides which, my ultimate goal is to draw perfect vegetables. My ultimate goal is to be able to draw what I imagine, the things inside my head, and make them look real. And if I'm forever stealing colours from pictures in front of myself, I won't be competent at finding correct colours that will actually match reality by myself. So let's try this. You of course can do what you like if you want to take the colours directly from it, and go for it. But I would recommend trying to get them yourself roughly. Just for the experience. It's good fun. Right, so I think ooh, not bad. It's kind of it's yellow, yeah, but it's got a slight warmth to it. So right now I've got it set slightly towards the orange side. I mean, you can see particularly down here that clearly it's very orange. The orangey part is going to be warmer, obviously, but not. Yeah, I think it's there-ish. That's about right, maybe. Then we've also got this kind of lighter, brighter orange at yellow, excuse me, at the top, and the mid one here. So let's take a little bit of the warmth away. No, that's not right. It looks like sludge. Here? Nope, still looks like sludge. We'll get there eventually, right? It's better. Okay, and then this lighter yellow is going to be more towards green. Not that much towards green though. And it is very yellow. That'll do. And then green, it's kind of a mossy green. Thinking of paint colours here, you get sap green. This looks like kind of a sap green, which has a yellowy, browny tinge. And then we have this like slight orange right there, but it's similar to, I'm going to steal my own colour here, it's similar to that, except kind of darker, like there. Yeah, and then we've got these little tips that are probably not actually black, even though they look kind of black. There, that will probably be about right. Okay, and now I'm going to just going to go for it. Oh wait, first of all, actually, you'll notice we've got these highlights. Don't make the mistake of making them white, because they are not white. If you compare that to the background, it's clearly not the same colour, right? That is actually a light orangey yellow. It's not white. So I'm going to try and find a colour that is light but not white. I don't have enough warmth in it. Actually, there's kind of two different ones. So yeah, about there, and another one that's slightly more orange. Okay, so I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to just shove the colour on. I don't tend to be particularly careful when I'm doing this, since it's easy to fix afterwards. I'm just going to make it roughly the right colour. Make sure you've got your darkest dark in and your lightest light. So obviously this is not perfect. It's just a really, really quite rough for now. It doesn't matter if something is not quite in the right place. I can come in here later and fix it. It's not that important at this point. Just get the colour on there for now. This might be too dark here, but I'm going to put a little bit and then we can kind of blend it out later. And then this colour I think actually would suit a little bit this bit here. Ooh, that's too dark, but we can fix that later. So right now I'm using the eyedropper tool to just grab the colours that I want and shove them on there, I suppose. Oh, that is so bad. I'm sorry, I have to change that. Excuse me. And I haven't used my light yellow. I'm just grabbing another green. There's actually another lighter kind of a yellow green in there that I have not pre-arranged. I think it's like that's too light, but that kind of idea. Yeah, about there maybe. Okay, now I'm just gonna erase around my beautiful pepper. And of course, there are loads of different ways of colouring things, and I'm sure that other people have probably much more efficient ways. I just kind of like doing this actually. It feels quite satisfying. You know how you're to just not for once. Okay, now I have my gorgeous pepper, and I'm going to set my tool back to soft and pressure sensitivity again. And now I need to soften everything. So just like we've got our darkest dark and our lightest lights, we also need to have our sharpest sharp and our softest soft. So I think it's really important when you're doing these kind of things to squint. That sounds insane, I know. You're probably thinking, why would I want to squint at the picture? But if you squint your eyes down really, really hard and look at, we're looking, sorry, at the original pepper right now, you'll notice that this area is dark. In fact, the whole side of the pepper is quite dark, and then the top is light. Also, you begin to notice what your sharpest sharp and softest soft is. So the sharpest sharp is coming from this stem, I think, and the softest part is probably right here where it blends into the background. So in order to make my picture look real, I need to make sure to include that. I'm also going to merge the layers down some, one rather, so that I can get rid of the lovely thick line that I've drawn in here for the initial picture. Okay, I'm going to start just by softening everything. I'm using this soften tool, blur tool perhaps, I'm not sure. Hold on till I try holding my mouse over to see what it says. Blur tool, wow. Yeah, I'm using the blur tool to blur everything that I have, because of course nothing is as sharp as it looks right now. I'm probably scratching my tablet supremely in the process, and I'm gonna actually use this colour to go over the whole pepper, because now that I've squinted down, and I really should have done this earlier, I can see that actually the whole pepper is quite a lot oranger than I'm making it out to be. Okay, and we have like this little orangey trail going up here. Not that much. And coming in here. And we have these little trails of lovely lighter yellow going down here. Do you see this little kind of, I'm not sure what to call it, it's like a reflection, so there's light bouncing and making this small trail, which I guess is the actual colour of the pepper, but it looks orangey because of the angle of the light in the picture. And we've got the orange colour coming in here again. I hope this is actually helping. I've just realised I'm just like kind of muttering away to myself here. I don't know how helpful it is really, so yeah, feel free to let me know if it's completely useless. Yeah, I've got that way too harsh. But we do have a little, I love that little trail of light yellow over the top here. And that's what I'm seeing here, not the line. There are no lines, just shadows. I love the variety of different colours they've got. I love the variety of different colours in here, so it's not like it's one solid colour anywhere. There's just, because of the little dips that you get naturally in a pepper, it's oh, there's a slight green there, isn't there? Because of the little dips, oops, it has a whole variety of different colours in there. Because there must be light coming in here. Obviously there's this light bouncing off the side here, so this part is actually a little bit lighter. But you'll notice, I don't know if you can see, there's like a kind of darker bit right at the edge, and then it goes lighter again inside. Oh, accidentally stolen the colour there. And that's just because of the curved shape. You will get slightly darker just at the very, very edge, which can also help you to bring realism in, I suppose. Oh, excuse me. That was not what I wanted to do. I'm totally an expert at this, haven't I? No, I'm quite new to digital art, so I'm not necessarily as proficient with the tools as I'm sure a lot of other people are. You can hear me pressing the keys. I've got it set so that I can increase and decrease the size of my pen width, or brush width, excuse me, by pressing certain keys. It just makes it a lot easier than having to constantly modify the size outside of that. Right, this part. Rid of this line. It's too heavy. It's not there. It's not there. It's a trick of the mind. I'm being quite light and gentle with the tool right now. Yeah, I don't want to do anything drastic. I'm trying to preserve roughly the colours that I put on initially. And just layer it over, especially because of the lovely natural colours in here. I don't want to have one solid colour. I want you to be able to see the variety of different colours in here. I made this too much of it is dark. Yeah, I think it's more red than that, isn't it? Perhaps. I've been over enthusiastic with getting it dark, haven't I? And although it's dark, it's not that dark. Bring this little edge out more. I had put kind of an orange on the other side of it to soften it slightly, but I think it's a little bit sharper than I was making it. Okay, and then I've got some bright-ish yellow here. I think I've lost my shape a little bit here because I've been softening the edges. It's kind of lost the nice little dip that it has at the side. I need to be really, really careful here because I don't want to chop off too much. And obviously when I'm doing this, I'm also sharpening, which is not nice. I don't really want to have it sharp, so I'm going to have to go back over it to soften it again. But I really wanted to match the shape as closely as I can. Oops. Okay, so we're getting better. Still not gorgeous, but we're getting better. It's hard to describe really what I'm doing here. I'm just making it better, making it more like the picture as close as I can, just trying to match the colours. Make sure you squint, but to make sure you're getting the correct shades in there. That's it, just keep doing it until it gets as close as you can to the picture. Okay, so now I am relatively happy with my picture. I mean, the problem is with realism, you could kind of go on forever, but you have to at some point decide, right, this is good enough. I'm gonna go with this. So I'm trying to stop myself from working on it. It needs to have a shadow here, so I'm going to do that on another layer, which will need to be beneath the colour layer, otherwise it'd be very odd. And I think certainly in our picture here, the shadow it has some warmth to it, so I'm going to go with that, I think. The lovely thing about these kind of shadows is when you're using the computer, that is, I can just use white to edit it afterwards if I'm not happy with the shape. I mean, I'm fairly certain there are tools that you can use to do drop shadows in pictures, but like I said before, my goal certainly is to teach myself to be better at identifying the shades and colours, and I'm not going to do that if I'm constantly using the tools. Right, so it still looks like it's kind of floating here. It's kind of helped to highlight that I need to go darker at the bottom edge there in my picture. And I'm probably making my shadow quite a bit darker than the actual shadow in the picture, but the shadow is so very faint in the picture. I kind of want to emphasize it a bit. Too much pressure on my pen there, excuse me. Okay, my shadow's not warm enough. I might be able to adapt that. I'm not sure, but I can try. Let's see, so if we try to click on the actual picture and select pixels, and then I think we can adjust the hue, perhaps. Oh, it's got molten lava. No, maybe not hue then, maybe it's something else. Color balance, perhaps. Oof, too warm. That's better. That kind of makes sense, doesn't it? I think the shadow is picking up the yellow of the pepper, and that's why it's got this kind of warmth to it. So I think it's something like that. It's a little bit more brown in the picture, but it doesn't matter too much, I don't think. She says. I guess it makes the whole thing like a cooler colour, so probably it does matter. This is why I'm not a teacher. Okay, so in my actual picture, now that I've got the shadow in, I can see that this is just not right. It's making it look like it's floating. I need to bring the colour of this down quite a bit. The tone of it is just too bright, unfortunately, and too sharp. It needs to be soft, and it needs to be darker. Darker. Just the very bottom of it I can see is still. That might actually be the shadow, admittedly. A combination of both. Yeah, I think that actually is the shadow. But I quite like it blending into the pepper here. Let's see if we bring this down some. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop here. Like I said, You could go on forever. There are definite errors. It's not perfect, but yeah, I don't really want to be drawing a pepper for the rest of my life, so I'm going to stop, raise my lovely values, and remove my picture of pepper. No, I need to stop looking at it, otherwise I'm just going to do this forever. So I'm going to get rid of that pepper and reduce the size of my canvas. Let's see, so if we do it by percentage and reduce the width by half, that should work. Yeah, there, lovely. And now no one can argue with me that, you know, that's exactly what it looked like. Don't try and tell me what the pepper looked like. No, I promise that's exactly it. Okay, last thing, sign it, of course. And this is the 11th of February. 3 days to Valentine's Day. Yeah. Okay, so I hope you found it useful. I hope it wasn't too convoluted. Top piece of advice: just make it look more like the thing. No, in all honesty, the top pieces of advice is it's okay to lose an edge like this edge here. That is okay. It doesn't matter. It's actually a good thing. And then on top of that, remember to squint. Very important. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. I'll do my best to answer them. And if you like the video, well, like it, and then I'll know to make more. Yeah, bye.